Are you ready to plunge your wooden arrow deep into the unbreakable jar of love? Then you should watch episode 90 of the talk-through of Shiren the Wanderer. Hi, it's Doofy! I am 100% better, finally! One thing about being sick, it really makes you appreciate not being sick. I told my mom I had the flu and she threatened to retire and move in with me until I got better. Never has a man been more motivated to get well quickly than me. Don't get me wrong, Mom, you're pretty cool, but God, you almost gave me a heart attack. Please don't even joke about doing that. I'm a grown man, alright? I do not need you to move in with me. So I am better again. Oh, I need to make some room in my inventory. It's tempting just to chuck this one Cairo, but I'm going to test out some of these jars. Last episode I started talking about love. In this episode I'm going to try to wrap that up. Can't remove jar, eh? I think this run I was using the one question mark for can't remove. So I'll just continue that. That reminds me. I named those jars the one on purpose to try to illustrate my point about Shiren the Wanderer being somewhat like the process of finding your soulmate. And in the process of talking about love, I am literally going to objectify women. I'm going to compare women to jars, alright? I'm just warning you. But I'm doing it for a good cause, so there is some objectification going on, which is going to hurt my point a little bit, but I'm just doing it because I want to push this metaphor, okay? Last episode I brought back the 4 motivations for people to play games, and I said that those are also motivating factors when people were looking for romantic partners. This episode I'm going to talk a little bit about what I talked about when I did the time episode, when I said that some people are passive participants, some people are active. Oh, that was dumb. I was trying to be careful, and I walked right into that tank. Some people are participants, passive participants. Some people are in control. They want to control the world. And definitely that applies to love a lot. Ooh, that reminds me too. Eventually I'm going to bring back everything that I've talked about in a project of sorts when we get deeper into this game. So it might seem like I'm just rambling about just topics that come up, but they're all going to come back, Mr. Miyagi style. So I do have an overarching plan for this talk through, in case you're afraid that I am just going to ramble about whatever I happen to be thinking about. But one of these days in a few weeks, I'm going to be like, wax on, wax off, and it'll blow your mind, maybe. That's how my brain works. It connects all the pieces at the very end. Just a heads up. So, getting back to passive and active. Usually, I would say, when you first start playing Shiren the Wanderer, you're fairly passive. You expect it to be kind of like a Japanese RPG, which is very like guiding you by the hand down really pretty hallways, you know, kind of thing. I mean, the games almost play themselves at this point, and I know I complained about that before, but I would say the same is true in relationships. In your very first serious relationship, certainly this is the case for me, so I'm not going to talk for everybody, but I have observed that for many guys it's the same way. The first relationship you have where you have sex especially, you're like, damn, this is amazing. I never want to lose this. And you tend to be a little bit more passive. You kind of go along with whatever the girl wants you to do because you're just like, sex is amazing. I must never lose it. So you kind of lose a bit of yourself and you become sort of a pushover. I guess people call it being pussy whipped, but that's a natural state to be in your very first serious relationship as a guy, I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking for myself. And then after that, some people go the other way. Instead of becoming really passive out of a fear of losing the other person, they become extremely controlling and active out of a fear of losing themselves. They think, oh my gosh, you know, I did whatever that girl wanted and our relationship didn't work out, so I'm just gonna control all these crazy bitches and hoes and get what I want and manipulate them. And if you look at like dating strategy sites, or I don't even know what they're called, but basically sites that are like teaching you how to convince women to have sex with you, those sites are like, those people who think that way are just as afraid of women as the guys who are pushovers and who are completely pussy whipped with no confidence. It's just a different kind of fear. They're afraid of losing themselves, so they objectify women, and they come up with these weird rules that, you know, oh, if you follow these rules, then you're guaranteed to get a woman to have sex with you. But they never have a genuine relationship with anyone. And that's something I noticed a lot, certainly, because I am a man with internet access. Alright, let me make sure. I'm looking for the one right now. Let me see if I have a strengthening jar. Alright, still bronze 1 plus 2 and a katana. Nope, neither one of these are the one. I have to come up with another name. I think I'll just call it Not the One. Not very original, but that'd be fine. Because I'm a man and I have internet access, I occasionally watch porn. So I've noticed that a lot of porn sets up some kind of unequal power relationship. You know, it's like a boss and an employee, or a doctor and a nurse, or customer and a waitress, or teacher and a student. The power dynamic is not equal. It's not two equals meeting. It's usually the guy, if it's porn for guys, who's in a position of power. And certainly with Japanese porn that I've seen, it's almost disturbing, the trend towards sort of non-consensual relationships. I mean, it's flat out rape in a lot of cases. Or the woman is unconscious or somehow unable to resist. And of course everyone has role-playing fantasies, and there's nothing wrong with that up to a certain point. But I would say that if the only thing that gets you off is imagining someone with no power. Uh-oh. Speaking of no power, I'm losing health fast. You have issues with women, and you are afraid of women. So, it's something you should probably think about a little bit. If that's the only thing you like. Alright. Every run is kind of like a relationship. I'm going to push this one to its limits. Let's see. I think I'm just going to let it go. Yeah. I wasn't sure if it would run out in time or not, but it's fine. Speaking of relationships and runs, at some point in a relationship, you have to kind of go with your gut. So that run, it wasn't horrible. I had a lot of jars, but it wasn't amazing. And sometimes you just have to go with your gut. I said, run, if this relationship's going to work out, you're going to break this strange spell. And the run met my bluff and said, nope, it's over. So I'm going to go back in for another try. Alright, what is this? Run number 5 on the rebound. We'll see how this one goes. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, pornography and controlling. So, when I was young, I was like that. I fantasized about situations in which the women had no power to resist me. You know, for some reason they were forced to have sex with me. And it wasn't necessarily rape fantasies, but, you know, you want to be in a position where the woman is just sort of like, oh, I'm helpless, oh, of course I'll have sex with you. But as I've gotten older, I realized that the best sex, the best relationships, and the most fun I've had are situations that are collaborative, where we meet as equals. And the woman has some agency, I have some agency, and there has to be some compromise, because we're not always going to exactly want what the other person wants. But it's a lot of fun. There's communication, literal communication, by talking to each other and just flat out asking, does this feel good? Is this what you want? But also sort of a communication with your bodies. Which sounds a little mushy and sentimental and new agey, I know. Tantric sex. But yeah, it's true. When you communicate, when you both get what you want without completely objectifying the other one, or dominating or subordinating someone, that's when I feel the most intimately connected with another person, and I get the most satisfaction out of sex and out of everything else in the relationship. I know that's kind of a mushy perspective to take in this time when certainly in popular culture, sex-only physical relationships are really promoted because it kind of commodifies the human body, which is convenient for a lot of advertisers. But yeah, I actually like meeting as equals, and it feels like you're building something that's bigger than each of you. And it might not necessarily lead to a super long-term relationship, but it's fun while it lasts. And I think that just as in pornography, the trend is towards too much control and manipulation, the same is true in gaming. So you can respond to Shiren the Wanderer after playing kind of passively, going too strong in the other direction and being really controlling, feeling like, oh, I'm going to control every single little detail in Shiren the Wanderer, and I'm going to master this game. And you can't really like play like a robot in Shiren either. It just isn't that fun. So you have to accept a little bit of randomness. And again, taking an example from my own life, certainly when I was younger, I had a lot of trouble meeting women. I was always super shy, and I would be really self-conscious and worry about, oh, what does this woman want me to say? Or what should I do? What rules should I follow? But I noticed that the time I really started becoming more successful meeting women happened after I stopped trying and I just kind of concentrated on myself, tried to make myself a better person, pursue my own interests, learn how to do things. And after I did that, the confidence just comes naturally, and I don't really have any trouble at all meeting women now. I mean, I'm not successful every time, but now that I am not worried, I guess, so much about meeting women, I find that it's much, much easier. And definitely the same is true of Shiren. I'm kind of preaching the middle ground here. You don't want to be completely passive and just thoughtlessly react to whatever the game presents to you moment by moment, because you're going to get into a bad situation and die. But you don't want to be over-controlling and play like a robot and have this set of rules and try to control everything around you. You just you control yourself, you accept that there's things that you can do to improve your chances, to make yourself more confident and appealing. And you accept that some things are going to happen that are going to be random, and that the other people are individuals, and you're not going to force their hand. So that's what's happening now in Phase Final Puzzle. I'm not going to force it. I know I'm going to win eventually. And if I die, I die. It's going to be another run. I'm going to get to start over. And in the same way, if your relationship doesn't work out, or if you're shot down when you talk to a woman, you can see she's not interested, or she's already involved with someone not available, it's okay. It's okay. There are so many wonderful, wonderful women or men out there. So there's always going to be another chance. Oh, I might need another chance here in just a sec. Let's see. Gotta go with my gut here. I got 2 mystery scrolls and a mystery herb. Maybe the herb is a healing item. Let's give it a shot. Oh, well, at least I died in my sleep. Isn't that everybody's dream? To die in their sleep. Alright, 5 runs down. Halfway done. 5 to go. Well, predictably, I did not have time to get to my brilliant jar woman metaphor. So I'll get back to that in a couple episodes. Next episode, though, I'm going to be back deep in Bupu's cave, talking about my real true love, the NES. Nostalgia will abound, so I will see you then. Goodbye. You put a spell on me. Now I'm dying. Time to start all over brand new. I ain't crying. No, I'll just keep on trying.
Wax on, wax off.